Hey everyone, let's talk about arrays. Now many of you might be wondering that what these arrays have to do with database, especially if you are a beginner and you learn these arrays first time. Then you might get confused that what to do with these arrays. Even if you know the syntax of the array, you know there are indexes of the array and you can store as many indexes as you want it. But what are the real life scenarios when you really use these arrays? So the answer is you really don't create these arrays manually when fetching some results from the database. Instead, database provides you the data in the form of arrays. So you can apply some loops on it and give it to the front end so a relative user can see their data. Now let's get started by creating a user. Our user variable is holding only one user. But what if we want to store as many users as we want it? That's the reason where arrays comes in. We can store many users in this array. We're storing only 3 users in this array. So if we say for each user as a user, echo out the user. Now if I save and run it, it print out the 3 users that we have stored in this array. What if we want to store users with their subscriptions? We have the user's name in this array, but where do we store these subscriptions? In that case, we can use the associative arrays. Associative arrays, we can store users with their subscriptions and other informations. So basically it's called a multidimensional associative array. So we can say here user 1 has a name of user 1 with a subscription to true, and second user have the name of user 2 with a subscription to false, and third user has a username with user 3 and subscription to true. And we can print out these values. We can't use echo here because the echo don't accept the arrays. So if we save and run it, here you can see it print out all the users with their subscriptions. In multidimensional arrays, we can store many arrays recursively. So even in that associative arrays, we can store further more arrays. For example, if a user has many posts, we can say post will be equal to another array, and in that array we can store many posts of the user. So the point is, all these data are static. How do we make it dynamic? Now for getting some dynamic arrays, I can use this code. This code is actually getting some records from the database, and we can comment this code. Now let's boot up the PHP server. Now all these data are dynamic. It's directly coming from a contact us form. I have a contact us table in my database, and that table provides me these 5 dynamic arrays. Every time a new user contact us, the arrays will be incremented, and each array represents the new record of a new user. So if I look at the code, this row variable holding those 5 arrays, and if I look at my static code, this user variable holding the static data. So the point is, in real life cases, those arrays are not static, these are dynamic. Every time a new user create a post or new user sign up, the arrays will be increased in size, and you have to write a dynamic code for that arrays.